Hi, I'm Ask Charlie and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please remember to hit the subscribe, ring the bell to be notified, ask any questions, make any comments, but it really does mean a lot to me to have subscribers and followers, and so do spread the word. I'm up here with Cassie today and it's pretty hot here in Sussex. The flies are pretty awful and hopefully Cassie's going to play ball and I'm going to show you how I plait her mane. Right, so the first thing I do when I plait a mane is I slightly damp it down and then I divide it up into sections. It's really important, and I am all about good luck and things going the right way. It's really important that you have an even number of plaits, including the forelock. So you have to have an odd number here and this makes it even. So I have my elastic bands in my pocket and rest them on her back because I normally actually put them in my mouth and I can't talk and do that. I just naturally do that. We'll see. So this takes a little bit of time sectioning it off, and sometimes you need to go back and just adjust them. Now Cassie's mane has been rubbed, so she's actually got a hole which makes it pretty tricky to plait, and I'm going to do my best and show you kind of how I cope with that. So we'll just get it all sectioned up here. Now, depending on what you're doing, depends on the size of plaits. We do a lot of side saddle with Cassie, and so it's sort of showing plaits, and you know, I'm not an expert, but they're good enough. But you just want to make sure that they're evenly divided up. And how many inches? Probably 2 inches in width for each plait. You don't want to have golf balls, and little skinny plaits are more for dressage. But it's sort of, plaiting's a little bit of a fashion as well. You know, there's different fads and different ways. I'm a traditional girl, and so I just do it the way I learned when I was young and I was competing. So Cassie's mane is all sectioned off along here. I have got 11 plaits, sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that makes 12 with her forelock. I've gone for bigger sections down here because her mane is so thin at this end, and so hopefully it will even out, and we just have to work with this little tuft as best we can. So I'm now going to plait each section down. Actually, let me just tell you, when I divide, and I will show you, I'll do a close-up, when I divide the mane into sections, you've got to make sure that you get a really straight line through. So you can use a comb to section that off. I actually just use my fingernails and divide it, and I think it's, you know, comes with practice. So I'm just going to start plaiting each section down. So just a normal plait. I do make it really tight though, as tight as I possibly can. I sometimes slightly cramp in my hands because I just find the tighter the better. And you want to plait so it's pointing down. I have seen people plait up, and that's not a good idea because it then doesn't lie nice and evenly when you go to roll the plait up. Cassie, are you being bitten again? Good girl. Swishing your tail. Mummy, I'm bored. What are we doing standing here? I always think they know when there's a competition or something and they're being plaited and prepared for it. So when I've got to the bottom of that, I'm going to take the band out of my mouth and secure it. Now some people only use elastic bands to plait with, some people only use thread. I use a combination of the two, so I secure the ends of my plaits with an elastic, and then I use thread to stitch the plait up. So when I get down to the bottom, I actually want to catch the ends of the plait in the elastic band and poke them up. Hopefully you can see that the ends aren't sticking out like that, they're caught in the elastic, so they're poking up. So then when I go to roll the plait up, they don't stick out. So this is a little bit of a funny length one here, so I'm going to do my best. So I've made that quite a bit wider than I have up there because I've got one part here that's really, really short. The next one's more of a problem. So again, keeping the tension evenly and making sure that you plait in the middle of the sectioned off hair. You don't pull it to one side or the other side, but it's in the middle, and again plaiting down, and keep the same tension on both hands and both sides. So we're almost at the end of that bit, but I don't want to have too many ends poking out, so I'm going to keep plaiting it down. Only got a couple of strands of hair in that side, and then because that bit's a bit shorter, I'm going to try and put the elastic band right on the ends of that plaited section, because the bands go round so many times that takes up a little bit of length as well. So I make the plait a little bit longer when I've got shorter hair. Cassie, don't go rubbing. No. And again, making sure I catch the ends of that plait in the elastic band like that, so they're tucked up and secured in there. Right, let me tackle this one here. So this is going to be a really tricky one, and it's not going to look great, but I will do my best. And again, I will really use the plaiting band to give me a little bit of extra length when I secure it in at the end. Cassie's a bit of a funny height for me. I kind of need to be on a upturned bucket or a small step. I'm not quite tall enough, am I? Slightly on my tiptoes. I probably will need to get a bucket when I get up more towards her ears. So, in fact, actually that's kind of surprised me. It's not as terrible as I thought. When I brushed her mane out the other day, I thought, oh crikey, I'm going to have fun with this bit. And I think somebody's having a party, the neighbours. You can hear lots of noise going on, isn't there, in the distance? Right, so I'm going to secure that off, and I'm just going to get myself even, you know, a bit of actually almost a centimetre of length by just moving the band down slightly. I think I've got hair coming up like that. I've got some long ends and some ends that are tucked away right up in there. As you can see, I've plaited all of these down, and I've got my needle and thread at the ready again. And I have got a knot in the bottom, and I'm just going to poke that through, not the elastic band, but just above the elastic band. And then I either roll or fold, depending on the length. This one, I'm going to actually, because it's quite short, I'm going to fold it in 3. If you've got a really beautifully even mane, then you can be really kind of exactly, you know, the same with every plait, but with this mane, I've just got to be a little bit adaptable. So I've folded that plait in 3, and I'm just literally, with my needle and thread, going to go up and down, holding the rolled plait really tightly, and I just want to make sure that that end that I turned up, Cassie keeps nice and still for us, the end that I turned up is secure in that rolled plait, and I'm literally just going up and down, and actually that's a few times and that's enough. So I've now just got sharp scissors, and I'm going to snip as closely to that plait so the end, you can't see the end in there. just tuck it in. Now, any little whiskey bits, if it's a really important competition, can be trimmed. I don't trim them if it's not necessary, or hairspray is my best friend. So I'm just going to plait up, sew up all the rest of these plaits. I've plaited the forelock in exactly the same way as I plaited these. Some people use a French plait on the forelock, but I don't. I just like it sort of plain and traditional. Hoping Cassie's going to stand nicely and I can show you this last one. Oh, she's not going to. So I'm putting the needle in just above the elastic band there, and then up through the very top of the plait and pull that up so it's in half, and then roll it in. My fingers are slightly in the way for you to see. Roll it in half again, and then stand. Standing so beautifully, so got to be careful. You've also got to be careful not to prick yourself, so just up and down through that, just a few times. It depends if I'm leaving them in overnight, so I tend to either plait late at night or very early in the morning, depending on what we're doing and where we're going. So that's done, and then I'm just going to do the same with the forelock there. So they say never work with children or animals, but actually Cassie's been pretty good for us. You can see that the plaits up at the top are slightly bigger than the ones down here, but that is because her mane is a lot thinner at this end than it is up here. So you want to try and make them as even as possible. I hope that you have found that useful. Do ask any questions. I've been plaiting for years. My mum never plaited for us. My children are spoiled, but actually I do get Coco to come and help, and she's always threading the needle and passing it to me. But when she's doing a big competition, I think it's important that I plait for her. As she gets older and more experienced, then maybe she'll take over, who knows. I have to say, my brother is actually better at plaiting than I am. He's had a lot of experience. He did a lot of eventing, and he used to be my groom when I was competing side saddle, so he is an absolute pro. I think my tails are better than his, but he is better on mane. As ever, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed it. It's really nice for me to show you a little bit of the things that I do with the horses and preparation for competition. So there's lots on at the moment in the summer and the school holidays. It's pony clubs and all sorts of things going on for children and their ponies, and I hope that my plaiting tips have helped you.